Cowboy Poetry here. I met these guys at the Venice Art Crawl. No? Is that where we met when they were doing stuff here? It was more of a jog. But... It was a jog. I mean, I was wandering back, you know. Okay. Well, here we go. So we've got Zane and Amir. Thank you so much. And this is a real treat. And they're going to tell you a little bit more about what they're doing. They got a lot of stuff on the merch piano. Sign up. And then, again, if you want to continue to join us on this journey of variety, you can follow Venice Music and they will tell you about their socials as well. So let's get them plugged in and going. All right.
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura. Can we get another round of applause for everybody that came on the stage? Yes, a big shout out to Laura, big shout out to Electric Lodge, Kent. We really appreciate being here. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but it's an honor to share the stage with everyone tonight. And so yeah, my name is Zane, this is Amir. I'm kind of the Doc Holliday of this outfit, and we're Los Angeles Cowboy Poetry. So I'm curious, has anyone here heard of cowboy poetry before?
Yes.
Tell me about that cowboy poetry.
Yeah.
Word. So yeah, that's the whole spiel. We're going to talk a little bit about it. As entertaining as tonight is, it's going to be a little education for you guys. Don't worry, there's no quiz or anything. But cowboy poetry is a very unique form of American literature, and it all started after the Civil War. These soldiers who, some of them for the first time learning how to read and write, were writing home in their journals and all that. And eventually, after the war, they started getting booked for these long cattle drives, where they were isolated for months at a time with the land, with the weather, with the animals. And these folks actually were pretty romantic fellas and started writing poetry. And it's really actually withstanded the test of time, so much so that Amir and I have been privileged enough to go to the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering in Elko, Nevada, right? We'll give a little snap for that. So cowboy poetry, thanks to this gatherings around the U.S., is actually one of the largest poetry communities in North America. Surprisingly so. And it also, surprisingly so, it's not just a bunch of old white guys in terms of, what is the West? That's what really inspired us today, and what we're doing with LA Cowboy Poetry Gathering is we are in arguably the most diverse city in the world, with a very diverse contribution to Western history. When we go to the gathering, we've met, indigenous people, Chicano Americans, African Americans, Irish women, all the above, non-binary cowboys, everyone who's made a unique contribution to the West, and we were really inspired to highlight that diversity in LA, but also just to take everything that we love about the West through the most authentic and simplest form of storytelling, which is spoken word. So, if you would like to learn more, we have some literature over here talking more about that crazy stuff, but we also we have an Instagram, Cowboy Poetry LA. But the best way to really understand what is cowboy poetry is to listen to our poet-in-residence, Amir Beardsley, who's going to do 2 poems. I might do a little cowboy tune or 2, and then we got some more for you guys. So thank you guys again for being here.
All right. Thank you, Laura and the Electric Lodge. Happy birthday, Todd.
It's not today.
I'm a cowboy poet, in case you didn't know it. My name is Amir Beardsley. I'm from Red Bluff, California. I grew up raising livestock and doing junior rodeo and then amateur and professional rodeo. I started my poetry at the National Gathering when I was in high school. I am now 30 years old. And to that, in the lifespan of a bull rider, I have passed my prime. And this first poem I'm going to recite to you is, I recently hung up the hat and I was going through my gear bag and I got whacked with a bunch of nostalgia, right? The sense of my gear, the feel of it all. I wrote a poem about it. I call it Pretty, because I think it's pretty neat. Every now and then, from time to time, I pull out that old gear bag of mine, and I run my hand over the armor I wore as a younger man. His blood-stained leather, scuffed by horns and hooves, rusted spurs and a worn-out glove, testimony to the life I loved. For every tattered stitch was a trace of an angel's bliss. I inhale the smell of leather and hide, and it takes me back to the better times. I blink away my childlike wonder, and the bucking shoots filled with thunder. My bull runs in, and I descend on the muscle and hide. My legs feel the bull shake the earth with every stride. But like time and time before, I am at peace with myself and ready for war. My rosin heated and my rope stretched tight, till the bitter end I came to fight. I take one last deep breath, and one more please God, and I slide up and nod. With a pull at the gate, fear clashes with fate, and time takes the form of dreams past and present in search of the horn. Well, some days you come a-fightin', and some days you go flying off, reaching, grabbing, grasping, nothing but air. You hit the ground and run, away from the bull's fair. You hope the bullfighters are quick, swift, and around. You race for the fence and you trip the rodeo clown. Anything to slow that old bull down. Well, the funny thing about a bull, well, they got 4 legs, and they could beat any man in a foot race. So you take a hookin', but that's nothing new, and you smile with a face bloodied and bruised. That's the name of the game. 8 seconds of glory, 8 seconds of fame. The price is but an entry fee, and a whole lot of pain. So, like I had the end of my era as a bull rider, this next poem was written by a rancher in Montana named Wade Montgomery. And in this poem, there's a cowboy named Tex who is undergoing his own end of an age, right? He's an old school cowboy and times are changing. And this poem talks about that experience for him, and it's reflected through the horses talked about in the poem. And here we go. I grew up with stories about the ghost of Boot Hill, Teddy Blue Abbott, and Scandalous Bill. Them boys are all gone now, and them holes have been filled with the bodies of cowboys that left no will. You only hear them stories when you're out on the range with real old boys on the real old plains. Not rodeo riders or farmers of land, not a singer in a bar room or an ag businessman. Saddle campfire tales. Well, I heard this story back when I was a kid about a crafty wild stallion who stole mares and hid. You couldn't kill him because he stayed out of range. A saber-toothed rocket with a human brain, the king of the plains. Old Tex watched him for many a year. He followed his hoofsteps, learned what he feared. He staked out 4 geldings, the fastest he had, in 20-mile stretches across 100 miles of land, and some gumbo and hard pan. Early the next morning, he spotted his prey, and he took to the stallion on a horse named Bay. They jumped 2 fences as they tore across the plains, chasing that stallion towards the next horse exchange. He got off Bay all lathered and sore, and he saddled up Red, and he went a running some more, chasing that stallion through badlands and sage. The stallion and Tex, all caught in a rage, this horse that won't cage. The next horse was Buck when it came down to swap. That hot afternoon sun had old Red about to drop. But Buck was sure-footed and quick on his feet. They went chasing that stallion through the Montana heat. The last horse was Blackie with the sun getting low and that western horizon beginning to glow. That stallion stumbled and fell with his pride and got up a-running, and damn how he tried, until he fell and died. I've talked about horses, and I ain't mentioned Tex, with the blood on his shafts from the blisters that bled. 100 miles of running had taken its toll. That stud was his hero, his heart, and his soul, but until now he didn't know. Tex looked on the ground where he died. A defiant look was still a glare in his eye. The stallion had stumbled and died in the sage, and it all represented the end of an age. Thank you. I will reintroduce Zane. He's going to sing a cowboy tune. Thank you.
pick it on there. Test. Yeah, something I wanted to say that I forgot to say earlier is that, as much as Amir and I are representing Cowboy Poetry in Los Angeles, we are reaching out to the community. We are looking for more authentic voices in those communities that we spoke about earlier. If you guys know any Native voices and African American voices, or just really anyone, Western enthusiasts who might have something to contribute, we're trying to expand and really bring those voices to the forefront. And one of the reasons why I chose to do music today is Cowboy Poetry is much more than just poetry. It's, one might say, a variety show. Can I bring this up just a little?
Yeah, do what you got.
That's good, thank you. Our goal is to have, we have, merchants, artists, from authentic beat making to yodelers and Creole dancers. We want everything that makes up the Western story. So I'm going to do a little music today to kind of show you that we are more than just poetry. That being said, originally I was going to do a cover, but you guys are such a cool, intimate crowd. I think I'm going to do an original song. I call us 35 millimeter. Mother, she tries to get off the pills. Your father, he cries, he can't pay all the bills. A Colt 45 must be God's will. 'Cause late last July we buried him in those hills. The rain, how it falls in puddles of dirt. And you had a child and he missed the birth. Spend all the time on nothing it's worth. We live and we die and turn back to the earth. Went to the sea, we stayed for a while. You shot 35, you asked me to smile. The sun, how it falls, we fade to the dark. We burned it all down from just one spark. Living a lie that nobody knows. Your alibi is just something you chose. You wait for the tide until your life is froze. And that's how it was. The story, how it goes. Your mother, she tries to get off the pills. Your father, he cries, he can't Late last July, we buried him in those hills. Colt 45, must have been God's will. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and bring back Amir Beardsley to the stage. So I got a poem or two left for you guys, and who knows, maybe I'll be back up here.
You know, I've been in 2 blizzards with this guy. It's great because he sang until the snow stopped. It was cold, but we had some good tunes. This next poem I wrote, I call it War Stories. I got quite a few over the course of my career. I broke both my collarbones, got a little bone that sticks out of this shoulder, broke some ribs, tore my quadricep. Yeah, it's part of the fun, but so this poem's called War Stories, and it'll take us back to when I broke my first collarbone. I got knocked out. I was knocked out for a while, so they helicoptered me somewhere. I forget. But, yeah, War Stories.
You paid for that, brother.
It was expensive. Bulls, fools, and horses. Cowboys sitting on a fence. All sights to see at an organized rodeo mess. Cowboys young and old all have tall tales and stories to be told. Tales about rank rides the rankest ever seen. And war stories, like the time Billy ruptured his spleen. Heck, they thought they killed me back in 15. Flew me out in a chopper, covered me with a sheet. Big bad bull whipped me down, sent me whirling all around. And I woke up life flighting out of town. 6 screws and a titanium plate was all it took to secure my fate. All that was left to do was wait. A few months later, I made my return. I had more bulls to ride and scars to earn. A few folks asked me, "Are you crazy, or did you just lose your mind? How could you return after that last demise?" Well, a shrug of my shoulders led to a nod of my head. And they cracked the latch, and that next ride began. Thank you. So this last one, I'm gonna read so I don't get it wrong. It's also we're gonna try something new. Zane's gonna come up here with his guitar and play a cowboy tune while I read this poem. This poem is by Baxter Black. So he's like a face of cowboy poetry, and this poem is called "The Legacy of a Rodeo Man." What I love about this poem is he found a way to paint a word picture of some of the poetry and motion of a rodeo rider. So from one rodeo man to another, I dig it. There's 100 years of history, and 100 before that, all gathered in the thinking going on beneath his hat. And back behind his eyeballs and pumping through his veins is a ghost of every cowboy that ever held the reins. It's evolution working when the silver scratches hide, and a ghostly cowboy chorus fills his head and says, "Let's ride." The famous and the rowdy, the savage and the sane, the blue bloods and the hot bloods and the Coriani strain, all knew his mother's mother, or was it his daddy's kin, till he's nearly purely cowboy, born to ride and bred to win. He's got Buffalo Bill Cody and Goodnight's wagon boss, and all the brave blue soldiers General Custer lost. The ghost of Pancho Villa, Sitting Bull and Jesse James, all gathered by his campfire, keeping score and taking names. Each man that's rode before him, yep, every mother's son, is in his corner rooting when he nods to make his run. Plus Remington and Russell, looking down his buckhorn sight, all watching through the window of this cowboy's eyes tonight. And standing in the catch pen, or in chute number 9, is the offspring of a mountain that's come down from olden time. A volcano waiting quiet till they climb upon his back, rumbling like a freight train on the track, a cross between a she-bear and a bad four-wheel drive, with the fury of an eagle when it makes a power dive. A snake who's lost its caution, a badger gone berserk, he's a screaming, stomping, clawing, rabid, mad dog piece of work. From the flat, black, staring shark's eye, that's the mirror of his soul, shines a challenge to each cowboy, like the devil himself calling roll. But the cowboy never wavers, he intends to do his best, and of that widow-maker he expects of him no less. Now there's a solemn, silent moment that every rider knows, when time stops on a heartbeat, like the earth itself was froze, and all the unneeded clutter in his mind drains to the dregs. His total concentration is on the beast between his legs. It's guts and love and glory, one mortal's chance at fame. His legacy is rodeo, and cowboy is his name. Thank you again, everybody. Laura, thank Patrick for setting up, and the electric box, thank you very much. Thank you for the guitar. Sorry about that.
I might get too much whiskey.
All right, so concludes the momentous first music and I'm so glad. Thank you to all of the artists who came out tonight. Part of the deal is everyone gets paid, so you can rest assured your money goes in the right directions here. Again, if you want to add additional money to the funds, there's a QR code by that lit up little tip jar if you have old school cash. I also will never refuse that. Credit cards, whatever. Take it all. This is just the start. Put June 13th on your calendar. We're going to keep it weird and we're going to keep it fun and varied, and I hope that you'll join us on this journey. Thank you so much to Electric Lodge for giving me a chance, and Kent for, helping me out and just growing this with me. So we'll see where it goes.
Turn on the audio again.
You killed it. A little faster.
Hi. I haven't seen you in ages. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Awesome. You guys came out. I really appreciate it. Right? Let's do it.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
This is like,
Right? Thank you so much for coming.
Part of it is fun.
What's your favorite part about it? All right. Are you still with Spencer? Okay. I am. Yes. I was gonna say I haven't seen.
where did you train?
I did pilot. I'll see you all night.
And she taught herself.
Well, part. We lived together once upon a time ago when I lived in Venice when I was the first one.
Yeah, you were good
Perfect.
back then when you were first on.
This is majority self-taught.
Yeah, but like I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I have done lessons. I just
It's such a
like,
hard instrument.
yeah, whenever I run into like roadblocks, I like see somebody. Yeah. Although I haven't been quite on top of that.
I locked in and I.
But I'm also not like trying to learn classical pieces.
Very cool. Enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
What was your name?
She's
Todd, nice to meet you. Heather.
Orange County. We're connected with Atonga, which is LA County.
Are you also
Two
local in
men,
Venice?
part of LA, Santa Barbara.
Oh, okay, cool.
Obvious, pretty much all the California nature.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So
No, we
fun.
have to build. We're trying to give like
Like I've spent all the time working in art.
That's our story book. That's our story book. We're really looking for those.
That is like so important. The most crucial part of it. Art does not happen without you.
Little tricks that I did.
Without the help of very kind. Exactly.
You guys like a flyer?
Yes, please. That was so fun.
Tough act to follow.
I have a new friend who has a song called "I Want a Cowboy," and wow, here's two cowboys right here.
Both single.
I should do that.